Okay, just started.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to this week community call. I'm Federico Asta. I'm president at the Kleros cooperative. Um, so, as every week, let's do a bit of a roundup of what is happening with the project. So, one of the main things for last week was I participated at this extremely cool event at Harvard. This was organized by the Belfer Center, which is a center specializing in international relations and diplomacy from Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and so they are very interested into DAOs because it's a new model for. Sorry, it's a new model for organization across boundaries, and so there is a lot of research to be done and a lot of legal and compliance questions to answer. So, well, it was a 3-day workshop. First day it was mostly for researchers, and well, lots of people we know from collaboration with them, joint research projects, and so that was the first day. Second day was more based on legal elements. As I was saying, there are a lot of compliance questions for DAOs. There is a lot of questions about what is a DAO from a legal perspective, how should a DAO operate, should it be incorporated, and if so, how should it be incorporated, what are the main questions, what are the liabilities that could arise, how is the liability in a DAO affecting different members. So there are people who think that a DAO is like a general partnership, as they're known in the US law. So potentially every token holder could be liable by the actions of a DAO. Other people have a different opinion. It would seem a bit strict to have everyone in a DAO, everyone holding tokens from a DAO to be liable for the actions. So other people think that everyone who has voted in a governance vote in a DAO is liable by the result of that governance vote. So there are a lot of questions, and also what are the main legal structures that DAOs should have. Some people think that DAOs should not be incorporated. Others think they should be incorporated under specific structures. Like, for example, there are different states that have different ideas about legal wrappers for DAOs. So, as you know, if you are a DAO and you want to have a bank account, you need to have some way to actually open the account. But who is the legal representative? You can't go with the DAO. The DAO cannot go to a bank, branch and ask for an account. So there are lots of questions there. So all of these interactions between the DAO world and the physical or legal traditional world are open questions. So they too have lots of legal experts, people from very big law firms, other researchers. Mainly the discussions was about what were those types of structures that we need for this to happen. And then on day 3, it was more about governance. So DAOs, as you know, are new types of organizations, and new organizations need ways to make decisions. And so on this day, there were people mostly working on how to better structure the decision-making process in a DAO. As you know, this is something we have researched a lot because, on the one hand, Kleros by itself is already a governance tool for DAOs, especially focused on resolving disputes that might arise, both within a DAO or between DAOs in the future, right? So there are lots of disputes that will arise and that will need some way to be resolved. So Kleros, one of the use cases is, as you know, is that. By the way, if you are interested in this thing, you can read the piece I wrote for Blockworks last week, where I give some ideas of what these projects, what the process should look like for resolving disputes in the context of DAOs. So there is that. Then there are other open questions, that we are also exploring from Kleros, in particular, how should constitutions be built? DAOs are being formed, and you need some ideas and some structures in order for them to be governed. And you have lots of open questions about who should have a say in a DAO, who should have a vote in a DAO. I mean, you should have a one token, one vote, like a corporate governance type of approach, or should you have more like one person, one vote, which is the way in which we typically think about governance in the context of traditional, like, democratic politics. So lots of questions about that. We have lots of, well, as you know, we also at Kleros are really interested in ideas and processes of actually building constitutions. We have been exploring this for a long time. The first time I talked about this, it was in the DevCon of Osaka, and then at the workshop of DAO governance, and then we had Jimmy Ragosa speak about this at the ETHCC conference in Paris. I think it was 2020 maybe, or 2021, I'm not sure, maybe 2020 or not, I don't know. Well, Jim will check. So then we have and the people who are in this so in this third day were super interesting. I mean, people with whom we work typically, or we have some different types of exchanges. For example, one of them was Glenn Weil, as you know, author of Radical Markets and the DSOC paper. There was Nathan Schneider, who also has written quite a lot about Kleros. Then we had and then lots of general councils or members from different other projects. The Gnosis Safe, Arbitrum. There was people from I think Polygon. Well, lots of big projects were represented there. So super amazing time, super great conversations, and it's also great to be invited to this type of events. It means that Kleros is highly regarded in the industry. And the day ended with actually a talk by a congressman, a U.S. congressman from Massachusetts, and he explained how regulators and how people in Congress see DAOs and how they think about regulating them. As you know, there is a big push in the US in particular about DAO regulation. You already know what news, so I won't get too much into that. So so that was a really cool conference with really, amazing people, super high level. So that took most of my time last week. So yeah, super happy about that. I will let now William give his update. And congrats, William, because of what you're going to announce.
Yeah. So thanks. So there was a economics paper that we wrote like a while ago now on sort of combining elements of social choice theory and peer prediction, particularly in this context of like shelling games that that Kleros is. Sort of laying the foundations of trying to unite these two fields and better understand like what is and isn't possible, and kind of voting in a set of design in a Kleros-like system. So that article has finally been accepted by the Economics Journal that was considering it. So that will be available in a couple of weeks when it appears on their website, and I look forward to like tweeting about it and like sharing more in-depth thoughts about it then. So I'm very happy about that. And then in addition to that, still sort of thinking about these like social choice theory kind of veins to take advantage of the greater modularity of the upcoming V2 of Kleros. We have in the yellow paper a bunch of thoughts about like what are the kinds of good voting and incentive systems to be used in generic non-binary cases. How can we handle more nuanced cases where it's not just a matter of like two binary options being presented to jurors. The jurors have like a range of options they can vote between. How do you do this in a way that avoids vote splitting? And in the yellow paper, we have a lot of sort of thoughts about how this can be done in the context of kind of generic, discrete, non-binary, choose from a list options. And I've been thinking a lot recently about kind of more bespoke approaches. So in addition to having like a module for kind of generic non-binary, for cases that are seeing particular traction or where there's particular interest, you can create like another module that has particularly adapted incentives in voting. Particularly relevant are cases when you have numerical choices, when every choice is, discrete. Like I have a choice between like a handful of different numbers, but they're all still sort of basically numbers. What if I can jurors can vote to give 100% refund to a small business owner in a small business owner freelancer dispute, or a 50% refund, or a 30% refund, or a 0% refund. You can use this additional structure of having numbers to be more efficient in how you handle voting and incentives. And I'm writing a blog article about that will be available soon. Another particularly interesting use case, and a particularly interesting module application is how do you have a good system that will properly incentivize rounds where there's only one juror. So we have this currently already kind of in experimental fashion with the Humanity Court. And that has had we've had valuable learnings from the experience of having one juror cases in the Humanity Court. And then how can we take those learnings and have better incentives for that kind of use case. So, expect thoughts in blog article form on all of these ideas eventually.
Awesome. Well, thank you, William. Another super cool thing that happened last week was the incubator demo day, which unfortunately I lost because of American Airlines that canceled my flight and put it the other day. So I was looking forward to being at the incubator demo day. I unfortunately missed, so but at least I got to make a little video for presenting it. I don't know, maybe Jean, you want to tell a bit about the demo day so I don't do all the talking?
Yes, it was great because it had the presence of the previous projects of the previous cohorts as well, not only the most recent ones. And since they have been working on their projects for a longer time, they also have more mature projects. But I'm very, be honest, I'm very impressed with the quality of the new projects as well. They seem to be very, for example, Talent Layer, which is integrates lots of different parts to create a custom kit for creating job markets. They seem very advanced to have it's a recent project and it seems very advanced already. And already they are getting some traction. So we have, I believe, 8,000 users that created profiles there. Also, I was very impressed with lens tags and the demo that they displayed. They had even some intelligence, artificial intelligence integrations on it in the interface for bookmarking. And well, of course, we are all at Kleros are very excited about Lens protocol and the potential it has for curation and social moderation. And the badge project seems to be doing great as well. They have lots of use cases and also seem to be very advanced already. And well, and also there's Nacho here from UBI. They made a live demo. They are basically live right now, finishing some details, and that's also super exciting. I really feel there is no marketplace in Web3 right now that is so completely decentralized, like that completely that decentralized as UBI. I'm really looking forward to see it getting traction. And I'm finishing editing the video recording. It's almost 2 hours, so I'm trying to cut the pauses and the transitions just to make it more pleasant to listen to.
Awesome. 2 hours is like demo day, the movie, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's something we can say about the next demo days and the next incubator programs. I know it's not finished yet, but there's.
I can say something. Yeah, I can say something. So for the next cohort of the incubator, the in-person one, we expect to have it in next year, in maybe starting in, I think, in February. And until that moment, we are going to do some online incubators. It's going to be an online program but we will give basically or mostly the same, contents that we give incubator teams. Of course, on Zoom, it's not the same that being in person with us in a room working together, and of course, the experience is not going to be the same. But at least we will have the possibility to have more people get into more people having access to this content. And also we think it's better to do it this way, because putting the incubator in motion, it's kind of quite an effort, because we have to travel to Lisbon. We have to, lots of expenses, of fixed expenses, and we think it will make more sense to have one cohort every year, but with more teams, than having 2 cohorts with less teams. So and also we want to give access to more people who, for lots of different reasons, they cannot travel to Portugal for the incubation. So lots of them, they still wanted to participate, and they kept asking, can we participate, but not without going to Portugal? And the answer was no, because we really think that being in person at the block is an important part of building a project. The team in the early days need to be in the same place together. So then you can work, remotely, and that's fine. But at least when you start, the project is, for us, in our view, important that you are physically present. So, but of course, what if you can't, because of lots of different life reasons? So this new incubation modality is going to address that question. So it's going to be remote, fully remote. We are going to give you most of the same contents whatever is possible to do remotely, but there won't be any upfront investment from the cooperative. So you do the program, and we still help you. We will do office hours. You have questions for me, for William, for Clement, for whoever is teaching on the program. You can have some of our time, and we will help you on all that. And then we will probably, just at the end of the program, under some scheme that is yet to be defined, do some investment in teams that we consider relevant or whatever. So that is the idea for the next incubation. That is going to start probably in a couple of months. So that's not a little piece of news, and we are super happy about that. And then what else do we have? We have we're working on the stuff about V2. I don't know if there are things that are super relevant. Thinking about how we will conduct the smart contract review and all that. And we are, I would say, in the final stretch to the launch. Then we're doing marketing materials, videos, cool stuff for launching the bridge. And also we will have, not very much into the future, the launch of VIA, which is the bridge that Kleros V2 uses for sending messages across. And then I guess that's it for today. Am I forgetting something, Jean or William?
Yeah, I have a couple more things to mention, like the VIA bridge. Shotaro will give a presentation at the Taipei, and it's probably that there will be something to show for that. Don't want to pressure. And the team is also working on VSCAN because when you build a bridge, it's also useful to have a way of analyzing the transactions that are going through the bridge. And I believe that's very soon we will have at least a preview or something like that. And Andre just shared an update about Proof of Humanity v2. Basically, the interface it's practically ready to launch. So there's some governance stuff that we need to figure out, but you can try it and give feedback about the UI because there's probably some improvements to be made. And Green has been working on Gnosis Safe module that allows people to create a Gnosis Safe that could basically be a treasury for a DAO, for example, and integrate it much more easily than the previous setup that we had available. And there's even like a Kleros logo when you're creating the Gnosis, configuring the Gnosis Safe, and we basically prevent people from making mistakes with it, and also avoid some error messages that people usually had when configuring Kleros as the arbitrator in the reality module. And Abir right now is on a conference in Hong Kong. Also, Emmett is also there. Emmett was participating on a panel, and I believe that tomorrow Abir will will give a talk about Kleros as an arbitrator for DAO disputes, and he also will join a panel with Sofia Kossar from Blockchain Gov. I see that Jamila just joined, and so this panel will be about proof of humanity and the situation in the DAO and what we learned, and it will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to see a recording of it. And also Shotaro and Aki are at ETH Tokyo, and I believe they might participate in a hackathon there as well. And yeah, I believe that's yes. Today the Aragon DAO hackathon started, and I don't know, Perico, if there's something to say about the relationship with Aragon, but it's very cool that we have a bounty of $10,000 for people that use for projects that for the winning project that use Kleros as an oracle, and it's a hackathon focused on DAO projects. So that I believe it's very interesting, and I'm also very excited to see the projects that come from it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was some drama with Aragon in the very early days, but I mean, it was so long ago, and also the team of Aragon changed a lot, so it's different people, completely different people. So I mean, it's okay. So yeah, those are some interesting. How many people are in Asia now? You know, this is the Asia week for conferences. So yeah, that's really cool. And also we are organizing the team participation at ETHCC. As you know, we go to this conference in Paris every year, and we do one of our team meetings there. And so we will have a bunch of, stuff going on. So we will have probably academic event organized in partnership with the CRED, which is the Paris Center on Law and Economics from the Panthéon-Assas University, which is one of the most important universities in France. I mean, the most important about law. So we are organizing something with them. We will have also side event in the conference, as we typically do for participants. I cannot say much more about that now because we are defining the format and stuff. And then I don't know if I should say this, Jean. Can we say about as we at Kleros are very into, we think that the sports are a good way to, a fit and, a good life. So we are organizing or seeing if we can organize, a little football tournament during the UTC. As you know, well, Kleros has very deep roots both in Argentina and France, which were two teams that played the World Cup final. So that explains why we are so good at football, of course. And so yeah, we are going to see if we get enough people who are interested, and then we might do a football game there.
Yes, this will be interesting. I see that there's some people reached out to me already because of a message. So we will be putting out the communication thread about this. I want to see who else would like to play against Kleros.
Joe Gaúcho, you have people from Argentina, from Brazil, from France, the top, and we have William from Canada, of course, who played the World Cup this year, right, William?
Yeah, totally. I'm the ringer who's going to make us win the soccer tournament now. I'm not an athlete at all.
I mean, you were a baseball player at some point in your life, I guess, right?
Yeah, when I was young, and I'm still I really enjoy spectating baseball. I was like an active Little League player when I was like, 9 years old or whatever. But alas, those days are gone.
I mean, I went to a game, a baseball game, at the Fenway Park. When I went to the Harvard conference. I had one day there, and I went to Fenway Park, which is the Red Sox stadium. I had gone to a baseball game one time before. I mean, it was at the Giants stadium, the Giants in San Francisco. I mean, that was a really boring game. I mean, I had this bad idea about baseball being boring. It's very long, games are very long. But so I said, okay, I went I said, I'm in Boston. And the Fenway Park is like, it's not just the game. It's like a museum, because that's a stadium. It's one of the few classical stadiums remaining. I think maybe William is that one, and maybe the New York Yankees, which are the classical stadiums still.
Yeah, I mean the Yankees replaced their stadium relatively recently. Like Wrigley Field in Chicago is like a long history, but yeah, Fenway Park is one of the most historic stadiums.
I wanted to go to see Fenway Park. I know that's why. I mean, Babe Ruth played there as well, right? That when he moved, he started there, I think.
Yeah, he was a Red Sox. I think he would have played at Fenway Park. I think it's that old.
Yeah, so I mean, I had to go. So yeah, there was. I mean, the game was quite good. I mean, and the thing is that the ending was amazing. So it was the Red Sox were, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. So the batter hits a high ball, and it seems it's going to be over. But the left field, I think, or the right field, he drops the ball like in the most stupid way. And then they have one more chance, and then they are down by 1, and then they have one guy on the base, I think, and then the batter hits a home run over the Green Monster. That was the perfect ending. I mean, a home run. And then they win. Have you seen the highlights, William?
I haven't seen the highlight of the game, but like that does sound like an epic ending.
Right? Let's finish this call and you go watch the highlights, because it was amazing. I mean, and it was a home run on top of the Green Monster. So yeah. Okay.
You can come to Toronto. We can go to a Blue Jays game together. It'll be, maybe it'll be equally epic.
Federico.
Okay. Yeah.
One update from the BD side, from the business development side. I don't know if Jean already mentioned it, but there's a new incentive program for new submissions for the Ledger registry. That's the first thing. And the other one.
He didn't mention. Go ahead.
Okay, so that there's an incentive program, the new incentive program for the Ledger registry, and the other one is that we are talking with an important company of Argentina for an integration but for the moment, there's
Yeah.
nothing else we can
can't
say.
say
But
anything else. That's all.
maybe in the future we are coming with new updates.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it then for today. I don't know if you have any question, guys. No. Okay. Well, then see you on Telegram. Bye bye.
See you.
Bye, see you.